Hello again. This is again my pleasure to conclude the serial of a series of the lectures with this institutional accreditation. We've seen what are uh, the standards, and we've seen what are the indicators. We've discussed over the week, over these last few days, the details about this. But now I hope with this lecture, when we'll focus on the process, the institutional accreditation, the mechanism which drives the NATO quality assurance program, everything will make more sense, and hopefully will answer some of the practical questions that might have came to your mind during the week or during different lectures we've had so far. So the learning objective is to make sure you are able to explain the institutional accreditation process and the role that the institution has at each step. We'll do this by addressing every single step of the institutional accreditation process. But I would just like to start with the question, why quality assurance? And this is for two reasons. First, that I think it's important to understand the diversity of the institutions which are part of the program, which are actually supporting NATO education individual training. So the need for the alignment to the common set of standards, it's obvious. But also to connect with some of the previous lectures, because it has been mentioned several times during this week that every institution is particular. Even when we speak about the same group of the institutions, like if we want to refer to the NATO education and training facilities, we'll see there are particularities that differentiate them between themselves. So although when it comes to these differences or particularities are even more obvious when we discuss or when we consider the application of an institutional or a multinational institution or a PTEC, which is a PTEC which is usually established as a national contribution to the PTEC community or to the partners training education community. COEs, even though they are governed by the same policy, they they have particularities in terms of their own internal management, and therefore that's why I think I choose to start with this slide to highlight this particular that there are particularities when it comes to the institutions, and to highlight that these particularities are considered when we conduct the institutional accreditation process. The way we do it, we'll speak as we'll move on towards the 5 steps of the institutional accreditation. So we have the 5 steps of the institutional accreditation on the screen right now. So this process is defined by the application, the self-assessment, an on-site visit, evaluation, and the accreditation decision. And we're going to discuss each of these steps, and I will try to highlight different particularities or the key features that you should consider when you engage in this endeavor. Application for institutional accreditation. This is the first step that will actually initiate the process, and the participation, it's on a voluntary basis. So every institution, every ETF will apply whenever they will consider they are ready for it, and they will do so only if they will seek. They will find only if they will find their own interest in seeking the institutional accreditation as being valuable for the institution itself. So the ETF decision if and when to apply. Then a prerequisite, they should only apply when a their quality management system is developed and fully implemented, and should have this application should be formalized. There is a template that will help the institution to fill in the application form and with guidance. Also using our common mailbox, the JFD QA at JFD at actnato.int, will can help you with more guidance in this. But this is something that has to be formalized. Once this application is received, the process is formally established. When we receive as a team, now we move on our side, when we receive an application, we have to look at the prioritization criteria that we defined in order to accept, or when to accept, better said, when we are able to accept an application into our program. And this is to highlight, this is important in terms of planning to ensure the appropriate resources are available on our side in order to fulfill the expectations of all the institutions. So which are these prioritization criteria? They are highlighted on the slide. First of all, we have to, we'll try not to exceed the validity of an existing accreditation period. So that's why the reaccreditation, it's an important criteria in order to prioritize the process. Also, the role that a particular institution would have within the global programming, this is also going to influence which institution will be accepted and when will be accepted. A department head will, it is important as they are in charge in managing on behalf of JFD a NATO discipline. The supporting role that an institution can have, like supporting more the relevance of their education and training with regards to the different disciplines. So this comes to the number of disciplines supported or the number of certified courses provided. However, it's usually we try to achieve the institutional accreditation for an submitted this year. We consider for the planning of the following year to ensure the resources, the planning. It's all part of this internal management of the program in ACT. However, emergency or urgent request or higher priorities request, they can be addressed throughout the year as well. So once the the application is received based on the criteria that we said, a formal letter is sent back to the applying institution confirming their acceptance into the program. And the second step of the process is now considered as in place. This second place will conclude with the self-assessment report, but it is important to understand that this self-assessment period, concluded with the self-assessment report, is maybe the most important part of the institutional accreditation process. This is the time where an institution will go and review their internal processes and procedures. They will identify and describe each standard that NATO is expected to be implemented and confirmed. And the self-assessment report that is the product of this self-assessment period should be evidence-based. It should include quantitative but also qualitative information and analysis. We expect this report to be received by us in ACT no later than 1 month in advance of the scheduled visit. And again, the report is to be formally submitted to using our common mailbox at ACT. We do have a template available on Transnet, but as happened in most of the situations or in the most institutional accreditation that I have been part since my arrival in ACT 2 years and a half ago. We are, once the acceptance letter is provided, the cooperation and enhanced coordination between ourselves as a team and the applying institution is very important. It is carried out. So I want to highlight this, that we are available for to guide and to advise the institution during this self-assessment period, because we have all together the same purpose and the same aim. We want to have a successful accreditation process, which requires, and we understand that our role in this is to align our efforts with the institution wants. So we expect and we encourage all the institutions during this second step of the process to be in close dialogue with our team in ACT, and to also ask and implement the recommendations that the team might have. But once the self-assessment report is made available for the team to prepare for the next step in the process, you should be aware that additional documentation may be requested by the team. The on-site visit. This is something that the dates. It's something that usually lasts for usually 2 days, 1 day and a half or 2 days. The dates are coordinated and agreed by the ETF and our team. So no one will be surprised by a visit in their institutions, as you can anticipate that. There is the coordination since the application was submitted. The dates are started to be coordinated, and they should finally agree once the self-assessment report is completed. And the dates are the on-site visit. The dates are set based on the ETF's recommendation to reflect the readiness and availability. And the focus will be to assess, but I would say more to confirm the compliance of the quality management system implemented in the institution with the NATO quality standards. While the continuous improvement process in the institution, it will be subject for the team assessment together with the relevant stakeholders within the institution. The on-site visits should be seen as an event which can be described as open discussions, interview, review of the documents. I'm highlighting this because this is not an audit in the dictionary, following the dictionary meaning. It's more like open discussion, relevant stakeholders to be available to answer the questions, to further explain the different processes and procedures part of the QMS in the institution. It is expected that the institution has available their products, their documents, the results, the elements to confirm the functionality of the quality management system with regards to education and training, of course. It includes usually a visit to assess and to understand what are the facilities, what are the opportunities, and what are the resources made available to enhance the learning experience for the students and also for the teaching staff. And the visit is tailored to each, as I said before, is tailored to reflect the particularities of each organization. As said, the program of the visit, once the dates are agreed, it also the program of the visit is agreed and discussed between the team and the institution to make sure this the topics to be discussed are agreed, and also the relevant stakeholders within the institution are available to meet with the team. Usually, in order to confirm the program, the administrative details, and the schedule for the visit, we prefer and we run a coordination video teleconference with the institution to confirm all the elements. And once this is achieved, the visit is carried out as agreed. Following the on-site visit is the evaluation, the final evaluation step of within the institutional accreditation is formally um, addressed. This evaluation report, the drafting the evaluation report, starts, or the evaluation phase starts with the application actually. However, there are different steps. The different steps that we discussed so far, they delineate somehow the efforts that are paid, by us or the institution when it comes to institutional accreditation. As we've seen, preparing for the on-site visit, the self-assessment, the application, a lot of efforts are coming from the institution. Now the efforts is shifted towards the team, which uh, which is in charge to prepare uh, the the evaluation report. And this evaluation report will it's based on the on-site evaluation, or based on the on-site visit. It takes the provisions of the self-assessment, which have been confirmed. It's intended to support. This is very important. You should see this evaluation report as a external feedback to the institution, which is intended to support the further development of the visited organization. It's based on conformity analysis of each criterion against pre-established standards. We discussed the standards, we explained the indicators, and we discussed this with the institution during the self-assessment. We confirmed the provisions of the self-assessment report during the on-site visit. So an organization or an institution applying for quality assurance should not expect surprises when it comes to development of the evaluation report. The outcomes, when it comes to each standard, possible markings within the report is that an institution would meet or partially meet a standard or does not meet the standard. And this is important to highlight, that once the final draft has been completed by the team here in JFD, the first ones to read the draft is the applying institution. So this evaluation report, the draft evaluation report, is shared with the institution, which has the opportunity to comment, to provide more observations, to update some of the informations if as it is necessary, to ensure that every single standard described in the report, it's described in a manner that is beyond questions when it comes uh, to the decision of the JFD for the analysis of on the chain of command to support an informed accreditation decision for DCOS JFD. So once the report is up, the evaluation report and our recommendations as a team are approved by the JFD, the institution would receive the uh, the final approved report, which will reflect the accreditation decision made by DCOS JFD based on, as I said, the evaluation report and our recommendations. And this decision is the possible decision of the institutional accreditation process is unconditional accreditation with a validity of 6 years, conditional accreditation with a validity of 1 year, but the institution will not be accepted to reapply earlier than 6 months, and not accredited or accreditation postponed. I would like to insist a little bit on the possible outcomes of the institutional accreditation. As the third one, it is a consequence, theoretical and valid consequence of the applying as a result of the process. But our one of the principles of the program of the that drives the NATO quality assurance program is that we are aiming for a common goal with the applying institution to have it right at the same time. So now I would like to insist again on the coordination, cooperation, which should be enhanced and enabled and enhanced and increased during the self-assessment period, because this will definitely support the one of the first two outcomes. What I want to say is that the team will not visit the institution. So based on the self-assessment report, if the team will not have the confidence that an institution will achieve at least conditional accreditation, this visit will be postponed. So the process itself will be delayed, and at least conditional accreditation is or the conditions for conditional accreditation should be already obvious before or during the on-site visit. So all of this being said, the accreditation decision is formalized through a quality assurance accreditation certificate signed by JFD on behalf of Allied Commander, Supreme Allied Commander Transformation, as authorized or with the authority granted by the MC 458 NATO ETE policy. Currently, just to give you an update on what is the dimension of the NATO quality assurance program, 4 NETFs are successfully joined the program. So we have the NMIRTC, NCI Academy, NSO, and NSOS, NATO Special Operations School, as accredited institutions. We do have 14 COEs are already unconditional accredited within the QA program, 12 PTECs, and 5 national institutions, with a total of 36 training facilities, which are part of the program. 14 of these institutions are also performing the role of department head for the 25 NATO disciplines. I would just complement this the information on the slides with the number of 5 institutions which have formalized their application, and they are at different stages within the institutional accreditation process, and with the perspective to be finalized by the end of 2021. Hopefully will not be required to be delayed to the next year. All of this being said, I'd like to draw your attention now on the accreditation benefits, on the way that they are perceived, and from NATO perspective, how we see the benefits of the accreditation. And this has been highlighted in even with my first lecture, defining the role or the framework for quality assurance, and insisting on the alignment within to a common set of standards to ensure the continuity of improvement of the NATO education in individual training in general, but also to stimulate institutions to contribute to NATO, and of course to ensure enhanced support to the implementation and further development of global programming. The institutions are seeing the benefits differently, and what I think is it's important to I've tried to do on this slide is to summarize some of the the benefits as they have been identified and shared with us by different institutions. And here I will just mention the four on the slides. To align themselves with NATO quality standards is seen as a benefit for the institution itself, is to raise their status and prestige, and also to be included as a provider of NATO approved courses, the highest or the most relevant certification status for a course, but also is seen as bringing the benefits with regards to personal development, which in total, overall will increase the visibility of the particular organization within NATO. Just to summarize, to sum up, the 5 steps of institutional accreditation: application, self-assessment, on-site visit, evaluation report, and accreditation decision. And looking to your to comment more based on particular questions that you might have. I look forward to seeing you live in our Q&A session. Also, emphasizing again that we are available at our common mailbox to take your questions and to provide you with some more insights or details as requested. I hope you enjoyed this this lecture. I hope I captured the main aspects that will give you the understanding on the main steps of the institutional accreditation process, of the role of the institutional accreditation as a mechanism for NATO QA program. And I look forward to seeing you in our live session later on. Thank you very much for now.